Happy birthday, world. Your economic depression is halfway. The next phase is the worst. But why are we celebrating? Because once that is out of the way, the world will get back to normal. See, sometimes the world will bite the bullet. Other times, nature is doing its job because what we've had so far in the last few decades is a monetary illusion created by the central banks, which has caused economic stagnation. The lowest economic growth in 25 years, and world trade collapsing to the lowest level in decades. But there is catastrophe on the horizon. That's what a flattening yield curve means. A flattening yield curve means that the market is pricing in lower rates and lower inflation or deflation long term. Isn't that a recipe for a global crisis? When you have excessive debt as a percentage of the economy? This explains the stampede out of commodities, out of oil, out of stocks, out of bank stocks. Because we are now going through the nasty part of the super cycle of credit. The unwinding of this cycle is here. This means there is a perfect storm brewing. But why are we celebrating? Because we will witness the bonfire of asset prices, which have been pumped up by central banks for decades. But now the central banks are out of ammunition. Really? What about another quantitative easing, QE? Or negative rates? Or helicopter money? What about drinking whiskey and taking aspirin at the same time? See, this is all endgame stuff. There is a catastrophe on the horizon, no matter what. Negative interest rates will destroy the banking system, the pension system, the insurance companies. Helicopter money will destroy money. And quantitative easing, QE, has had its day. It will increase inequality. You think you can increase inequality when there are elections coming up? This is the end of the monetary illusion. Look at the bonfire of the bank stocks, down 75% in the last 7 years. Look at the doubling of their credit default swaps, which are insurance against default recently. Look at the trillions of non-performing loans, especially in Europe. Look at the impact of the bank bail-ins in the European Union. The banks are now shut out of long-term financing. Who in his right mind would buy a bank bond where you could lose all your money because of the new EU banking bail-in rules? And don't forget the bank depositors who are now also at risk. At any rate, we are celebrating because the markets are pricing in a large global shock. Once that's out of the way, the world can get back to normal. Is it a China devaluation when China dumps all its goods on world markets? Is it a large-scale Mideast war? Is it another banking crisis? Is it country defaults? Is it a global recession? Is it earnings falling apart? Maybe it's all of the above. But you see, the year is not over yet. It could be that there is a technical rally in oil or in bank stocks or in the stock market in general or in commodities. But let us be clear. Every technical rally in oil, bank stocks, in commodities is a selling opportunity. Every technical weakness in the US dollar or in treasuries is a buying opportunity because they continue to be the safe haven. And there will be a shortage of safe havens. What we have here is the end of the huge monetary illusion that we've had for the last few decades. Look at all the broken trades of this year. All the experts believed in the reflation trade in Europe and Japan. The dollar would go higher and the euro and yen would be lower. The opposite happened. Look at the predictions of higher rates and higher bond yields and higher inflation and higher economic growth. The opposite happened. Look at all the predictions of oil prices which would rise and bank stocks that would be attractive. Wrong. Don't catch falling knives. The worst is still ahead of us. Wait until the dust is settled. But celebrate, because this is the last phase of the great crisis, the great financial crisis. You know, 2008 was just a taste of things to come. It was a trial run. It wasn't the real thing. The real thing is ahead of us. And that's why we should celebrate, to get that out of the way. It may take a few years, but that's nothing in the history of mankind. Until next time. Thank you.